When it comes to staying power, video games have an inherent disadvantage. Sure, there are plenty of classics that still play great, but because they're so dependent on interaction, and because technological interaction changes so rapidly, games age a whole lot faster than other forms of entertainment. Movies from the 30s, still great. Centuries-old books, as vibrant as ever. This Xbox game from 2003 feels older than both. I think I mentioned this in a prior review, but our old pal Fuzzlebob recently sent us a bunch of games with a letter attached. Speaking of antiquated, snail mail? Are you kidding me? I love this! And then I read this. CGR! If you are reading this, then congratulations? You're now in possession of the worst game in my library, BIONICLE! Followed by some other crap. Hope you enjoy bad games. Damn you, Fuzzlebob! So, worst game he owns, huh? I gotta tell you, I was skeptical. He sent us some surprisingly decent games in that box, so could BIONICLE really be that bad? The answer is yes. Yes, it's really that bad. In fact, it's so bad! You play as 6 different characters from BIONICLE, which I guess is some kind of Lego series. There's a story, but honestly, I have no idea. It makes no sense whatsoever. Characters are having some kind of bizarre ritualistic ceremony. Some guy shows up with enemies chasing him. Starts a whole freaking war somehow. Whatever, I'm fine with that. As long as the war plays well. This war doesn't play well. Freaking World War Boo.
I have defeated the BIONICLE, but you sent something else? Chronicler.
So, I guess you'd call BIONICLE an action platformer. And really, if you've ever played a licensed game, you have a pretty good idea what to expect. Most of them follow the same kind of template. There's some basic 3D platforming, basic 3D combat, some obligatory vehicle levels, lava world, desert world, water world, done. $40, please. Fortunately, BIONICLE probably won't cost you full price anymore. To be honest, you shouldn't be paying anything for it. Nonetheless, the game really struggles, due in large part to its camera. You can't control it, it just shifts around on its own. And the problem is, your combat is based on auto-lock shooting. Only it's called auto-lock because there's nothing automatic about wrestling with the camera to get locked on. The game's most interesting mechanic is that shooting requires energy. And to gain energy, you have to absorb enemy fire. You do that by activating your shield at just the right moment. But eventually that becomes more annoying than it's worth, and since your energy slowly refills on its own, you don't even need to do it, which negates the game's only interesting idea. BIONICLE just doesn't have much of a purpose. I mean, the game actually doesn't play terribly, but its terrible camera makes it seem that way. The game's design's as generic as it gets, presentation's just awful, and even if you're a BIONICLE fan, this thing's only 2 or 3 hours long, which frankly feels merciful, Fuzzlebob. You weren't kidding. This game is terrible!
I must return to the others at once.